we're going to have a look at an interesting pen, and the pen's made by Ryan Krusac Studios, and I think this is a very interesting model. Ryan has been around for quite a couple of years now as a pen maker. I had the pleasure of interacting with him at the DC pen show in 2012. I seem to recall that was his first pen show. And Ryan does really nice stuff with wood, with bone, with natural materials. And up to not too long ago, he created kit pens. So he used kit sections, etc., and he made a pen around that in a very artisanal way. But now he's actually starting to make his own pens, like completely own pens, and I think that's very interesting. So I happen to have this one on loan from Eric, and I think this pen has a lot of interesting things going for it. So I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. This is the Legend 14. It's named the Legend because that was Ryan's nickname in high school. Actually, I have no idea, but it is a very interesting pen. It's made of cocobolo, a very nice wood, and it is entirely handmade. All right, so everything in this pen is made except for the feed and nib. Of course, they're also made, but they're not made by Ryan. Sorry, there's too many Brians in the pen world. I get confused. Right there, the logo of Ryan Krusac's pen studio. Top of the cap. You see it's all the same material, I like that. Have the wood, then we have the barrel. I like the shape of this pen. Alright, and then at the bottom, there's nothing to it. So this is, it's not a huge pen. It's just a little above a pocket pen, I would say. But larger ones are available coming up, etc. too. Cap unscrews. The section is ebonite. So a nice dull black, which I think works well with the dark wood. The nib has his logo on there again, and a simple nice feed. I like that logo. The logo is nice and also works well on the nib. A nice larger nib, looks like a number 6, which is interesting because it's a smaller pen, so there's a very nice balance in size between the nib and the feed. International cartridges or converter. Put that back together, and what you have is, it may be a smaller pen, but it works well. You don't have to post it. Can you post it? Not really. I mean, it works, but it doesn't post very deeply, and with wood without a center band, I wouldn't push this too hard. I once had a cocobolo pen that actually cracked at the cap. Not from Ryan Krusac, but it did happen. So there you have it. Section, simple, tapers down, flares out a little bit. Nice, simple design. Not a lot of frills on this pen, and I think to a lot of people that would be part of its appeal. It's a simple pen, and it works. Cocobolo is a beautiful wood, very dark, very deep, rich, crimson-esque color. With some nice wood grain in it. I think it's very attractive. So, what do I like about the pen? What do I not like about the pen? Material is fantastic. I really like that. It writes well. Simple nib, writes well. This happens to be a broad that was then altered a bit by Mike Masayama, but nice nib to work with. It works. Threads are smooth, not too sharp. A little bit of a sharp step down on the barrel there, but I don't know how well you can make that less sharp on wood without destroying it. Ebonite section works, pleasant, comfortable, not slippery, and I think the pen size is okay, especially for a smaller pen. I find it surprisingly comfortable. Being all wood, it's also fairly light, so if you have longer writing sessions to do, I think that would work out very well. So I like all of these things, okay? The things I don't like about it. Personally, I would like to see a slightly larger pen, but as I said, there are other models, the larger ones. That's personal preference. If you don't like a small pen, then you shouldn't buy a small pen. You should buy a bigger pen. One thing I will say is it's 295 euros, if you remember correctly, the MSRP. And one could definitely argue that that's quite a lot for a small pen with a steel nib. Now, one thing you do have to bear in mind, and I'm not saying I'm trying to justify the price here, but what you do have to keep in mind is you are buying a handmade pen. You're buying a handmade pen made of an exotic wood. Parts are handmade, ebonite is hand-turned, etc. So you're not buying a pen that is stamped out in a factory, mass-produced, and there are 700 million billion of these. It's something that someone actually has to put together, has to sand down, has to polish, etc. So I do see that this would not be a $50 pen. Having said that, of course, whether it's worth it for you, as always, is a completely personal question that only you can answer. I see the quality. I see the quality and I see why it's not a $50 pen, but it's hard to see that if you just look at it like this from a distance and a camera. I think this is the type of pen you have to hold, and when you do, you feel how extremely smooth it is, how well polished / sanded it is, and how beautifully it's done. Also the wood grain is there, which adds a lot of depth to the pen. It works, to me, very well. So, there you have it. I think what we need to do is see this pen in action, because that's why you would buy it. Dimensions of the pen, as well as high-resolution pictures, will be on the website, SBREBrown.com. We're going to see how it writes. I hope this was useful so far, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so here we go with the beautiful Cocobolo Ryan Krusac, the legend. 14. The nib used to be a broad, but now seems to be some type of cursive italic that was done by Mike Masayama. So Nibmeister nib, and the ink is Pelican Royal Blue. As always, the nib work by Mike Masayama is perfect. Very pleasant nib. I really enjoy the feeling as it writes. Bit of fast writing. Good flow. You notice on the upstrokes, I mean, it is more of an italic-y nib, so you notice that it can get snagged a little bit in the paper, but that's, you just have to hold it properly for that not to happen. And of course, when I do this very quickly, then that's a little bit more prone to happen. Wetness. Well, it's a very nice nib in that regard. Pelican Royal Blue is on the dry side, but it's definitely, it has a very nice flow, which I really enjoy. Line variation, of course, because of the way the nib is ground, there is a natural line variation with thinner side strokes and broader down strokes. It is a steel nib though, and with a bit of pressure you can definitely squeeze out some line variation. For those of you who enjoy upside down writing, reverse writing, I don't know how well these nibs do that out of the box. This one still does it, and of course you still get a sort of italic-y writing experience. So, there you have it. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later.